At that role, you played mom, right?
I had to.
And would we
Big
say,
mom, went to the school and everything. Big mom.
But this is a kicker right now. Would we say that women are nurturing, right?
Right.
Why wouldn't the boyfriend or the husband get that same thought? Like, maybe he's just going through something, and maybe I should go to him and ask him, like, are you okay? I like that. That's the only thing I feel like. That's the only thing I get mad at women is because I'm like, yo, you have that level of logic when it comes to your child, but the person you lay with every night and say you love, you don't have that level of compassion for them.
I think there are a lot of women that do have compassion for men,
Because
though.
it's used against them in anger. So that means they just picked up ammunition.
I don't think you don't have. I think, yes, I agree with you to a degree, but I do think that you do have some women that if their men are going through something, they want to know.
Welcome to the Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast, starring Q the Boss.
Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. And I'm Q the Boss.
Oh, hi, guys. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Happy Father's Day, Q.
Let me give a drum roll for you guys.
We have a good day today.
My sister Shay is in the building.
I would like to start off by saying I think dads are amazing.
Okay.
I think that it's such an unrewarded job that you guys do. And I think that you fathers deserve this day. You know, shout out to my dad, all the dads. I really do believe that Mother's Day definitely gets more celebrated than Father's Day. Let me go on record saying that. I do believe that we don't celebrate you guys as much for Father's Day, but I'm giving you all your flowers today. Happy Father's Day. Next topic.
I do believe that everything she just said is true. I do believe that fathers, in most cases, get the short end of the stick, and they're not looked at as important in the healthy household aesthetics. In most cases, we looked at as just providing, and all you can do is provide. And if you don't provide to the magnitude of what the woman sees as good, he's considerably not a good man in today's society. And I think it's very unfair that this has become so normal that our families are actually taking a nosedive, right, to the bottom of the ocean because of this situation.
But I think most dads are, like I said, maybe not celebrated as much, but I feel like for Father's Day, I feel like dads get their flowers. I mean, maybe, like you said, not to the extent of it's this huge deal of like going to buy flowers, of course, right? Mother's Day, the flowers is a thing, or going to restaurants. But I mean, I've worked in restaurants for over 20 years. And on Father's Day, you would see people bringing in their husbands and bringing in their dads and stuff like that. So I feel like dads do get celebrated, but not to the magnitude as moms on Mother's Day.
Agreed.
So I will agree with that. But I don't feel like they're lacking being celebrated. You know, like, do you feel like you're being celebrated today?
I think I don't want to make my standard a standard because I created a situation that they have to make me feel important on my day. The same way I make them feel important on their day. The thing is, as a man, we create our situation. So a lot of times when men do complain about the households that they've created, I blame them. And I'm like, you chose a woman that she's not submissive to you, she's argumentative, she's combative. That's what you chose. So therefore, that means you have work to do on yourself, because reality is, if you was good in your own, you wouldn't even entertain a person like that.
Yeah.
But again, it's the person. So in my household, I'm definitely treated, looked at as my birthday is important. But my initial previous relationships, no, I didn't have that.
Yeah.
But you know what I will say though? The one thing I want to understand is, why is it that on Father's Day, the gifts that are looked at as for fathers are things that benefit everybody other than just the father?
Can I say something real quick? Not to go to the comments, but I just want to say Happy Father's Day to Kibo. He said not even one female wished him Happy Father's Day today.
Wow.
So I feel bad. Happy Father's Day to you, King.
All right, but let me say this. Look, you take right now a drill. A drill is used to fix things in the house, right?
Yeah.
A grill, right? If I was to ever say, you know what, today, I'm going to show my woman I love her, I'm going to buy her a vacuum on Mother's Day.
I'm going to hold you. I'll take a nice vacuum.
Let's be real.
I would take
if a man has bought you a vacuum on Mother's Day, ain't no way in hell you're going to be happy with that. And if you say you are, I'm calling it cat.
Of course not. You know, women, we don't want no vacuum, but it's been a thing. I don't know why, guys. Why with dads, you want to give them, you don't even know, you want to give them tools. You giving him a tool set.
To fix something for you.
Stuff to barbecue on the grill.
To feed you.
It's a thing, you know? So it's not nice. It's not right. But I've never given that as a Father's Day gift. I've always given gifts, things, like nice things. If somebody in a comment would keep it real, let's keep it real. I have given... You know,
No,
I would never give a guy a tool.
But Shay,
set for Father's Day. That's not cool.
I know you and your husband now. I truly believe that you're not lying. I keep telling you that.
No, I would
but the only
never.
thing I keep saying is Shay is a fair player. Just so y'all know that, she is a fair person. She does.
try to be.
She's a fair person. So when she does rebuttal, a lot of the times we have these topics is because she isn't like that. And I always tell her, but in most cases, most women are like that. You know, I seen a video today made me laugh, and I love that he did it. He rage baited the girl. So he saw the girl walking in the mall. He tried to talk to her. She was like, no. And he was like, yo, today's a special day. I'm in a good mood. I want to buy you something. She gave him the utmost rhythm. Not only did she give him the utmost rhythm, he walked into the store with her. I wouldn't go that far with the corniness, but it was a good corny. So he goes into, I think, let's say one of the Gucci stores or one of the expensive stores, maybe Louis Vuitton. He goes into Louis Vuitton and he makes her order $35,000 worth of stuff. And then when it goes time to pay, remember before he hollered at her, she told him that she has a boyfriend. And now he goes to pay, he goes, wait, I'm not paying for this because you got a boyfriend. I don't think your boyfriend would be happy with another man buying you $35,000 worth of stuff. And she said, so you playing with me? So she grabbed the sneaker off the rack and threw it at him. And she started, I'm like, but again, why did he have to buy your attention? And I'm like, this is a sad thing in society. For a man to be seen, his pockets have to be considerably deep, which is sad. Again, a man is not seen if his pockets aren't deep. And I feel like that's why we have the #1 problems in the most unhealthy households because of this nature. We have to get this culture out of our culture. A woman and a man should be seen just because they exist. A woman should be respected because she's a woman. A man should be respected because he's a man. It shouldn't come with certain asterisks like, okay, I will respect him more if he got a nice car. I will respect him more if he owns a house. I will respect him more if his pockets is deep. It's scary that society.
I think everyone has their...
I'll give it to you.
Things that they're hung up on, right? Or has their standards per se. Like, I think that I agree with you when you say that you have women that will come with those, you know, requirements of, you know, they need a man to this, they need a man to that. I don't think men per se have those requirements, but men will like their women to look a certain way, though. They like a certain aesthetic. They like a certain... So I feel like it's different qualities, but we all have some kind of expectation. That makes sense. Where it's like she wants a guy to pay for this or do this. I'm not saying it's right. He wants a woman that looks a certain way. Like, kind of, what's the difference? I feel like it's kind of something for something.
I agree.
If that makes sense. You know?
What you say makes sense, and I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
And I can understand why it could be a thought. Right. I can see what you're saying, but the reality, to me personally, the one thing I don't like about the nuance of culture is the respect thing, though. That's the real thing that bothers me. And you hear women blatantly say that I won't respect a man if you don't get to the bag. And that means you can be purchased.
Right.
I mean, you have a price tag that's considerably attached to your respect. I'm only gonna respect a man that got money. That's why you see things were ignored by a lot of celebrities that get ignored every day. You only have because of finances. Yeah. You don't have without finances. And you don't have none of these men that's able to take advantage of women if a woman doesn't come into a situation and add value to the situation that they built. See, a woman that helped build a man has a right to say something and has a voice in a house. But a woman that finds a man that's already established, she has no voice to him and he don't care. Because reality is, I built myself. What can you tell me?
Yeah.
Because as easy as you came in, another one can be replaced. A man with money has options. So a lot of times we don't want to acknowledge the fact that the men that are very, very financially secure, they come with options. I think a true helpmate, a good woman or a wife will say, you know what, let me find a man that has his life together and let me and him build the future, the life that's in my head, let me help him build it. Let me go find a man that already has all of these things and think that he's going to see me as a partner. Because he never will.
Right.
He never will. He's just being fair. Like, come on. You know? It's just unfair. Today's society is just very
I
unfair.
was watching something on TikTok yesterday, guys. I wanted to share, and I forget his name. He was a really popular guy. I forgot his name. And he was saying that a lot of females nowadays, you know, they can just be bought. And he said a lot of times women are not, you know, they're posting everything they have. And he said it's become a society where every woman wants to live that life, but you don't know what that female had to do for that.
Agreed.
He was like, a lot of these females are sacrificing a lot just to get a bag. You know, they're not posting that, but they're posting what they're getting from it. And you know, it really brought some light to the fact that I know you always say don't make you the standard, and I think that's something that I really do have an issue with when it comes to me and the people that I surround myself with. It's like if I feel like if it's not happening in my immediate circle, I tend to turn it off and feel like it's not happening at all.
Yeah.
Because to me, what are you willing to sacrifice just for that bag, just to get something from a man?
Yeah.
But now when I'm going out, I'm seeing it more. I'm seeing a lot of women that are very much so, like last night, like just one girl, like you said, you gave that example, and I saw it yesterday where she just felt like if this guy's talking to her, he walked off, and she's like, he's a bum because he didn't buy her drink. But I didn't understand like why in 10 seconds she felt like the guy came over to her and she was entitled
Because
to
she's-
getting a
she's
drink.
really a
You know
bum.
what I mean? And I was
'Cause
like,
she's the bum.
But she just started talking about him like he's a bum. You could tell he's a loser. He didn't even buy a drink. And I'm like, but he just came over here and just said, how are you? Like, why did you feel like asking you how you were doing obligated you to getting a drink? And
Because
why is he a bum for not getting you one? Like that, it was just a little weird to me.
2026,
You know?
we're dealing with social media. It's created more narcissists than ever.
Yeah.
Like you see, entitlement is one of the number one traits about narcissistic people. They're very entitled. Like for a person to go work for his resources, and then you just feel like he's supposed to just give you the resources just because he said hi to you.
See, nothing is wrong with her saying buy a drink, Virgo Earth. It's the entitlement. I don't think that you should feel like if a guy comes over to talk. Now, is it a nice gesture if you're talking to a guy and you're sitting engaging in conversation and he offers you a drink? That's fine. But I wouldn't judge a guy if he didn't buy me a drink. That wouldn't determine if he got my number or not. And that wouldn't make him a bum, because at the end of the day, I could buy me a drink and I could buy him a drink too. So I feel like it can go either way. I feel like feeling entitled is the issue. It's not saying that something is wrong.
Agreed.
To say buy a drink, because that's the question. What is wrong for a woman to tell a man to buy a drink? There's nothing wrong with that. Why are you telling him to buy a drink? You don't know him.
Especially you know, you know, my real problem with that though is when you know you genuinely have no intentions with this person. I wouldn't expect you to go to start spending resources on me if I have no true intentions for you.
Right.
I would, because you got to look at it life, and the reality is everyone for the most part work for their money, right?
Right.
If you're working for your money and you're trying to meet somebody, it's becoming an investment if I start spending my money. So if I'm spending my money and I'm investing and getting to know you,
Right.
based on how much money I spend is how fast you'll sleep with me, which is kind of scary. Like, and I wouldn't want my daughters to think that your vagina has a price tag on it based on how much he spent on you. And that's what I'm seeing today more than ever, where people feel like, yup, the women I grew up around initially had more respect for themselves. And I always tell a woman, when a woman plays a man's game, she always loses. When a woman plays a man game, she always loses.
What do you mean by that?
Because reality is, if I sleep around, a woman still would want me by far, and the good women will still take me, knowing I've been with 1,000 women, right? Would you assume that, let's just say hypothetically, Chris Brown, you think Chris Brown went with a lot of women?
Yeah.
But the women still drool over him.
Right.
Now let me give you a prostitute, compare them to Chris Brown. The men aren't drooling over them. The woman loses value with her pushing out her losing her value. Her innocence is what make her valuable.
I think that as women, though, ladies, we need to start vetting these men the way they vet us, because I feel like when a man says something like, you judge a woman, right, based off of if she has multiple children, and a guy will say, listen, she got 2 or 3, child's father, I'm good, she's washed, or she's a hoe, or she's whatever. I think we should start doing the same thing to men.
Agreed.
I don't think there's a problem with us looking at them and saying, okay, well, he has multiple kids' mothers. There's something wrong with that too. Like, this man couldn't plant his seed in one garden and watch it grow. He had to go dip it in other gardens. I feel like we give you guys that much grace where we feel like, you know what, it doesn't matter how many kids you have. We let our emotions and we like romanticize like bare minimum and low effort. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it doesn't, for us, not for all women, but for some women, that's not a turnoff. For some women, there is. Some women don't want kids. They don't want a guy that has multiple kids' moms, multiple baby mothers, or have kids outside of them. But I feel like with women, we don't pay so much attention to that. And I feel like that's a problem because we should. Because if men are paying attention to it, why shouldn't we?
I agree with that statement, but I do believe that more men, when they have children and they decide to move on, right, they're looking for a better overall woman. A lot of the women with the luggage, they're looking for better overall providers. You're bringing more mouths for me to feed, and I did not create that. So in most cases, the man, he's looking like, damn, I don't want the baggage that comes with that because now my expectations of providing intensifies. The reality is a man, when he leaves the woman that he was with, in most cases, he's looking for a better overall woman. There are situations that could flip-flop, but in most cases, a man is not... My girl is I don't hear too many men gloating about the woman's money unless he's the shorty in the relationship.
Right.
When a man gloats about his woman's resources, it's because he's the girl in that house. He's not the man in that house. A man that will say, my woman can take care of herself is because he actually says that there's stability there, so if anything was to happen to me, she can cover it.
Right.
But a lot of times, the women... I listen to, even from personally knowing into social media, they'll have multiple kid fathers, and now they want the highest valued man on earth because they see their children as being more valuable. And I'm like, men don't think like that.
Right.
Men see that as more luggage. And then she gets offended when you say that. I'm like, no, you have to understand by having children, you hurting your value in the dating world. It's just what it is. A man can have, I know a man that got 6, 7 kids, 7 baby mothers, and still can get the highest value girls on earth.
Just because of his finances.
Yes. So the woman, she could be rich and famous. She could have 6, 7 baby daddies. She more than likely to get a boyfriend that's going to be another kid for her. She's going to get a boyfriend that's going to be another kid for her. So her 6 kids plus him. He's usually going to be the guy playing video games with her kids because he's looking for more security than he's looking for leadership, a role of leadership. There are a lot of men nowadays, based on how they were created, how they were raised, they walk around looking for people to be their sponsors because they haven't built themselves up. I know guys that are in unhealthy relationships right now, and the only reason why is because of the fact that they're not secure with themselves financially. See, I'm gonna let you read that. Somebody just donated. I wanna let you read that. Read that real fast. Somebody read that. Go ahead. Tyler, you got it. Go ahead, Tyler.
Always.
Let Tyler get it.
Thank you for the $5, Rob. He asks, why is it always I feel like, and I know you are, but what am I with Shay? Like, he's basically asking, why is it always I feel like with you?
What do you mean? Like I feel like if I say something?
Yeah,
if I'm giving my opinion, I'm not, some of the things that we're talking about, I don't know if I'm stating facts. So if it's my opinion, I'm not going to say I know. I'm just going to go off of just what I feel. Because it's opinion based, you know?
I understand. Okay, talk.
So what do you guys think the nuance of society, like where it's turning today? Is it because like the fathers aren't appreciated, like the leadership? What do you think, Q?
You see, like just simply like, okay, like today, just using this as a conversation. As men, we gotta address the elephant in the room, right? We can't ignore the problem because then the problem gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But sometimes, like my sign and who I am as a person, I ignore things until I get mad. I gotta stop doing that. Because that's how I've always been. I gotta stop ignoring it, and then when I get mad, I'm on it. But I'm saying, but what I've learned is society, even with dealing with like men and females, most people feel like they're being attacked, even when you're just telling them something that you know this person is not trying to attack you. It's because, again, if you grew up around more estrogen, you're more than likely to have more emotions heightened than a man that grew around more masculinity. And or you know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. Yeah. I see a lot more men nowadays, they get so defensive. And I'm like, bro, you're defensive because you haven't learned how to cross over to manhood. Manhood is about problem solving. And problem solving comes with you being tactical, being strategical, and being logical. But more men that are emotional, they tend to they can't tackle life because of the fact that they're just too emotional. They think they're gonna emotionally fix a bad situation. You gotta logically fix a bad situation. Meaning the bills are gonna still be there. We know every first of the month, here comes the bills.
Right.
So you're gonna cry for 28 days about the bills, or you're gonna try to figure out another form of income. So when the first comes, you definitely made yourself move forward. And even if you only made yourself $1 richer this month, at least it's $1 less that you got to worry about. And in the following month, you say, you know what? Now I'm $5 richer, so it's $5 less I got to worry about. You build towards fixing the problem opposed to just crying about the problem. And I think that's what most people at today's
That's
society.
what I was telling you. I feel like sometimes when I hear men say things like, you know, they can't figure things out, especially when it comes to your finances, I feel like growing up, I just used to see my dad and my uncles and everyone. It didn't matter what they needed to do to make sure the bills got paid, to make sure things got done.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So when I'm seeing men now just trying to not figure out a way out or not having a solution, I do kind of look at you a little funny. Now I'm like, are you a good leader? Because if we're in a position where these are the bills and this is what I could do and I'm doing what I got to do and you not kind of meeting your halfway and you're complaining, I am going to look at you funny. And I think most women wouldn't feel stable in a relationship like that. It's to feel like, listen, he doesn't have any resolve. He doesn't have any problem solution. How am I going to trust this man with leading me if he can't lead? You know what I'm saying? So,
but then that's why I always tell you, in today's society, leadership isn't warranted because you're a male. Leadership is warranted if you're a man. There are good males out here. They just not great men because they weren't taught how to be great men. So when we talk like from society in a whole, based on how you're raised, it changes your whole trajectory of who you are as a person. For instance, if a person grew up in the hood, more than likely they have more of a hood aesthetic. Would you agree?
agree.
A person that grew up in more of a classy area, they have more of a classy aesthetic. So one thing we have to identify is that based on where you've grown and what you've learned, it ultimately surfaces throughout your life, right, and how you interact, how you react to things. If your mother was very aggressively hyperactive, always mad over time, when small things happen, you're more likely as a male to be like that. Because why? You only saw what you saw. Right. You had no one to cross-reference or cross-combat that thought. So all you've seen is your mom get mad, she goes to the moon. So guess what? When you get mad, you're more likely to go to the moon. When someone checks you or tell you about yourself, see, let's take this word check. When a person say check, I don't take it the way people take it. They take check as you disrespected me. No, I take check as somebody telling you the truth. Right? Everyone can get put in their place. And there's nothing wrong with that. When everyone get too big for their britches is when we have a bad society, when no one can be told anything. It's about how you say it. Right. Because again, you're my friend, but I could check you, and I'm your friend. You could check me if I'm wrong. The cue you wilding. That's a check. It's not disrespect. It's a check. Checking you is just making sure to get you back in line. But people take things for wrong. Leadership is always understanding your team and knowing who reacts a certain way. Right, and how they react. That's what makes a good leader. And once you learn that about yourself, you don't force people to take on your role. You just do your role. Because again, all the energy that we spend on complaining about the problem, we could be spending on fixing the problem.
But when you say a lot of men aren't men, whose job is it to raise them now? So when you have grown boys that get in relationships, is it a woman's job? Like I always tell you, women want partners, not projects. So is it a woman's job to turn that boy into a man? Because you're coming into a relationship not ready. So is it my job to fix you, or is it your job to come to me whole? Or even if not, I can encourage, I can inspire, I can motivate, but you can't make a man a man.
I agree.
Whose job is that?
But I do see that let's say if a woman is like a good leadership, like a good leader, and we use the term masculine, and what I keep saying is masculine is not a feminine or a masculine. It's not a female or a male thing. Mm-hmm. Masculine is traits, attributes, the way you are, right? So let's say a woman, the way she had to survive, she became more masculine based on the way she was raised. Okay. That don't make her a man. What makes her a man is when she jumps up in men's face and she lost her feminine side with becoming that.
That's not what my question was.
No, I'm bringing it around. So what I'm saying is now when a woman meets a guy and she knows that about herself, that isn't your job to teach this man how to be a man. Right. But your job is also to be the leader that you are. And in most cases, the person that's going to work with a person like that is a man that's more like that. That's more passive than a man that's more aggressive. And the reason being is because, again, he's her healthy balance. And it's just based on how they were raised. And a lot of times, like for instance, I'm the type of person, I'm a workaholic. Mm-hmm. I need a woman that constantly reminds me like, yo, sometimes you need a vacation. Because sometimes I get overly indulged in work, that I don't even get to enjoy the fruits of my own labor. But I will say, if she knows and see red flags or signs that she's not attracted to, she has to exit stage left early before we start creating children and life together. and then complaining about it. Like sometimes that's healthy. I do know good women who are more, they're leaders better than men, like way better than men. I know some great women that are like that. And they're comfortable with themselves because they know that that's what works for their life.
Right.
And if they stop being themselves, their household won't work. And it's not that he's a weak man. He's actually a good man because he knows that she's a better leader than him. As long as he go gets his own money, as long as he can pay his own bills, as long as he can, based on how people are raised, it's changing the aesthetics of male and female. It's not the same. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is.
That makes sense.
I know guys right now who like, they'll sit behind a man back and talk behind a man back and won't say it to the man's face. I'll be waiting for the dude to come in the room and tell him. Hey, Chad, you my childhood friend. You know I tell him to anybody. It's not because I'm not scared to fight a fight. It's because of the fact that I respect that person enough where I got to say it to their face if I said it behind their back. I don't like talking behind somebody's back and not bringing it to their attention. Or give them a chance to explain themselves. The only time I don't like is when somebody explains themselves with an excuse. Because the excuse is actually gonna give you the reasoning to continue the bad behavior. Every time you see somebody make an excuse, it's a continuation to the bad behavior. I don't like, that's why I stay away from excuses. Because excuses is always the reasoning to make us continue to do what we do. Like I told you, when I got locked up years ago, I said, I got snitched on. I went from saying I got snitched on to I should have never sold drugs. And that term accountability changed my whole perspective. Just in that one statement changed my whole life.
Right.
Right? So what would you say right now is something that you seeing is missing in a lot of men? Because we know we're all missing fathers. Or fatherly figures and role models.
I think just initiative and leadership in a lot. I could say that I have 4 brothers. And I feel like I do see a lot of lacking of accountability, lacking of taking initiative, just looking for someone to kind of pick them up and help them. You know what I mean? I do have my one brother. I'm so proud of him. He's doing amazing. But sometimes I look at the others and I'm like, what are you doing? You know, I have a brother that's 30 something. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, another one 30, what are you doing? You know, I see their girls kind of, and this is not just men that have girls that are strong leaders. These are my brothers where I'm like, yo, like, I don't want you to be living off your shorty. Like,
Was their dad there?
Gotta get it together.
Was their fathers there?
My dad was in prison for a while. My dad was in prison for a long time.
My next question is,
Yeah.
did your mother over coddle them?
So one of them has a different mom. His mom was in the military. I wouldn't say she overcoddled him at all, but I wasn't there,
Yeah.
so I can't tell you. I do think that my mom did in some sense with my brother, and I don't know if it was just because that was the one child that she had just this closest bond with, but I do think that she definitely overcoddled him. Yes, I'm not going.
You know what I always say. A lot of times, women raise sons that they would never date, and it's scary because they have more empathy for the child that they create than the man that they lay with. And I'm like, that's what's scary, when you can have all this empathy for the person that you're giving to society. When you know we're going to be judged by who we give to society.
Right.
The same men that a lot of women complain about is the men that they're creating in their house. And the way they talk to this guy or this young man is actually giving him excuse after excuse after excuse. I know young men who believe that they're the man of households that they barely pay bills in. And they think that they're the man there. And the way the mother allows them to think like that is what's going to create a very entitled man, to the point where he's going to look for a woman who's going to continue this behavior. And when he comes around a man like me, he's going to think that I'm wrong for basically going against the way his mother allowed him to think. And now we're basically 2 lions that are completely different. I roar, he meows. And we just not the same.
Right.
So when I'm roaring, he's gonna be like, meow. And I'm like, yeah, because his mother roared for him every time. She'd be like, not my baby. Your baby don't even want to fight for herself. I told you an analogy a while back when I said, if my son fell into a lion's den and he's getting bit and he lays there, I'm not jumping in to save him.
Yeah, I was mad when you said that. I was
And now
like,
you
what?
understand? You understand what I'm saying, though?
Baby.
Yeah, but if my son fell into a lion's den, if he's fighting back, I'm willing to jump in and fight with him, because now I'm willing to die in honor of us honoring, giving my life to somebody that was willing to give his life and fight for his life. Yeah. I'm not willing to fight for somebody that's not willing to fight for their life when their life is in danger. I'm not willing to go lose my resources for a man that has nothing. Because he has nothing. He hasn't built himself up to the point where it's even me worth risking myself. So when sometimes I say real men walk away, it's not that we scared of you, it's because we know we got more to lose from a crash out.
I have a question. And to everyone on the chat, everyone here, why do we think that...
Let me just explain that. Somebody said, what the F? Let me explain exactly this analogy before I pass. Okay. I'm sorry. My son has to be willing to fight for himself. If my son is willing to fight for himself, I'm willing to go to their limits with him. Right. If my son gets into something, let's say he's in a bad predicament, I want to see his reaction opposed to always being codependent on my reaction. Because then that person will always be codependent on my reaction, right? In order to build a man's self-confidence, you got to see the decisions that they make in situations that are uncomfortable.
I don't know if the lion's den is a good example.
But it's the perfect analogy because it's an extreme where your life is in danger. So if my son jump up, I'm not saying he's going to beat the lion, but the fact of the matter is he's willing to fight that lion. And if he's willing to fight that lion, I'm jumping into the den with him. We're going to fight the lion together.
So if he's not fighting, you going to let him get killed?
He has to be. That's what you chose. You got to have a warrior spirit to be a man. In order to be a man, you got to at least be willing to defend yourself.
Some men aren't like that.
No, but they said that. I didn't say that. They got to still be willing to defend themselves. Just because you're very very laid back, don't mean you wouldn't let somebody put their hands on you. Dre, you're not the most aggressive guy, but he ain't gonna let nobody put their hands on him. I know that for a fact. He's not the most boisterous. Kizzy not the most boisterous guy. He ain't gonna let nobody put their hands on him. What I'm trying to say, that's a different aesthetics. Being able to defend yourself is that's being a man. You got to defend yourself. But based on how you raise is different. But if my son is not willing to fight for himself, I don't see what's the point. Yeah. Because he should have that in him where I'm in danger, I should be trying to get myself out of this. And if I'm not willing to, he will never become a man. Never. He looking over at me, you the one in the den. You the one in hot water.
I mean, that's definitely why dads are very important because I have 2 sons and I'm jumping in. I'm beating the lion. I'm pulling his ear. I'm pulling his tail. I'm getting my son to run out of there. Moms, I think a lot of moms, it's safe to say, if, you know, you ladies will be honest, we coddle our boys a lot. We do, because I would be lying to you if I said I didn't with my kids. Yeah, if I need to get serious and if I need to be a disciplinarian, I'm going to be a disciplinarian. But they're definitely mama's boys.
See, you see what he just said? Lie. He's not talking about physical fight. He's talking about situations of life. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to use the analogy just as a reason. I know what you meant. Come on. So I'm saying, I'm not trying to be funny. I know what you meant. But I'm just saying, like, for instance, I remember one time my son was riding a bike. He was floating. Boom! Crashed. I'm going to be honest with you, act like I didn't see it. I did it on purpose. I said, oh, a part of me wants to go see if my son is okay. But a part of me want to see what he's going to do because you're the one that's hurt. But again, when I look back over, he didn't see me looking. He brushed himself off and guess what he did? He got back on the bike. He had his little wounds on him, but he got back on the bike. But if I would have made a big deal about it, forever he will always look for someone to make a big deal every time he falls.
But can I ask you this sometimes? Do you think sometimes some dads can be a little over-aggressive and that's why some men don't feel like they can express their emotions? Because I've heard men say, like, you know, I never had an opening to express myself. My dad was always hard on me, or this was always hard on me. Do you think sometimes it is the softness of a woman that can make boys, like, express themselves? I give you an example. We had an event a couple months back, and 2 kids, you know, the kids were all playing, and one of the boys got punched in his stomach, and he started crying. And the dad, young, he's 8 years old, you know, my youngest is 8, and the dad went over to him and was kind of like, "What are you crying for? Stop crying. Be a man." And I felt like, it's like I got what he was saying, but I'm like, he's 8, he got punched in the stomach, and it hurts. Like, he's crying. And I felt like in that moment, it was kind of saying to him that is it not okay for him to feel pain? So I think sometimes some men, when they get to an age where they cannot express themselves or they don't want to express their emotions, it could be from not just having absent fathers, but from having overly hard fathers that just didn't give them room to express their feelings. You know?
I will say this.
In my opinion.
A part of me is saying what you're saying is right, but a part of me understands that life is going to punch him in his face 1,000 more times. And he's got to be able to lick his wounds. And on top of it, Kenzie said something a minute ago. He said, one day he caught himself crying. Yeah. He said he had to tell his woman and he ain't feeling nothing. He's going to have to do that more times than not. He's going to have to act like he's not feeling when he is feeling. And the sad part about life is if he can't lick his own wound, Because I'm sorry to say this, the world don't lick men wounds.
But but before I forget, Q, but
You heard
I
that
feel
though,
like
right?
sometimes the world doesn't lick men's wounds. But I'm saying to you,
all.
sometimes it feels a little contradictory to you saying that women don't give men the opening to feel like they can express
That's why
their
we don't do it,
emotions.
though.
But then you're just saying
That's why we
like,
don't do it though.
But if you're
No, we don't do it because of y'all. Because we know y'all use that against us in anger. Listen what I'm saying. Stay with me, Shay. I'm not using
Okay,
you.
okay.
Anytime a man shows a level of vulnerability, a woman sees that as a soft spot and a piercer, or she can pierce his armor now. And once she learns that, she takes advantage of him. That's why I always tell my son, be mindful of what you tell your woman, because at the end of the day, she's gonna use it against you. The little things that when your woman use sarcasm and she say little things like, your room dirty again, I'm like, be mindful of that, because when y'all get into an argument now, it's your dirty room. I'm like, mine, it's a buildup. So be mindful of the things that are being said, even as jokes. Be mindful of those things, because a lot of times, as y'all learn us, y'all hurt us. And it's sad, a lot of women learn men to hurt men. It's sad. A man can't just be like, yeah, I'm having a bad day, and then feel like he has that. I just told you, we don't have that level of grace. We don't have it. And it's because women, they've created this thing where a man has to always be machismo and more macho all the time, to the point where these men are egotistical because they pretend to be something they're not. And it's like, yo, why am I hurting, but I gotta act like I'm not hurting because you're gonna laugh at me for hurting, for being human. And like I talk to a lot of my guys, I'm like, it's okay to feel. There was a conversation, I was talking to a couple the other day in here, right? And the man asked the man, are you depressed? And it took him a minute. And when I looked at him in his face, he didn't want to say yes. He didn't want to say yes. I promise you, I could see it in his face. He didn't want to say yes. He was like, because he was worried about how he was going to think about it. And then he looked at me and he said yes. And then in the same breath, the woman, she goes, you ain't depressed. I'm depressed. And I said, you see what you just did? I said, yo, you took that moment of this man's vulnerability and you made it about you. And I'm like, understanding perspective is how a human thinks. Regardless of whatever you think or whatever he thinks, at the end of the day, he felt that feeling. So when he started expressing his feelings, that should have been an easy, let me just chill, let me just hear this out. And let him at least express himself. And I think that men haven't been given that grace at all. At all. Go ahead, Tyler.
I see her point, and I see your point as well, because just getting older and reflecting and realizing, like, as a man, you really don't have nobody to go to but God.
No.
And that's just what it is. Like, okay, I could say, yo, I'm going through this, but then people don't want to hear that. People don't want to hear you walking around. It's always a problem. It's always something going wrong. So as a man, you kind of just got to go in your corner and figure it out. Pray.
But do you feel like the only reason that men can't express themselves is because women don't make them feel safe too? That's the only reason that you guys don't express your emotions? There has to be something other than, I don't want to express my emotions because of how she's going to think.
I think
sometimes it's deeper than that for some men.
I think we've been conditioned from our women to be so hardened that we even are hardened to each other.
But sometimes you're conditioned by your fathers to be so hard. And
But a lot of us don't have fathers.
It's not just women. Because if we're going to say
there are men that are like that.
overcoddle their sons, if we're going to say that a lot of women overcoddle their sons, how can we in the same breath, not to say two things can be right at the same time, but how can we in the same breath say, well, the reason you can't express yourself is because of your mother?
No,
it has to be something else also.
You coddle him with taking away his responsibility. But you speak to him vocally aggressive. But you coddle him with removing him seeing that he can do things himself. Like I remember one time my daughter, right? She made a peanut butter and jelly. It was the ugliest peanut butter and jelly sandwich I've ever seen in my life. Mm-hmm. And she was so proud of it because she did it herself. Mm-hmm. She ate that peanut butter and jelly sandwich better than the one I made. And I started realizing she'll get better if I don't jump in. Right. Sometimes you be like, just move, let me do it. And once you just did that, that kid is gonna always want somebody to say, move, let me just do it. Or they're gonna do it to their weakest ability, hoping someone jump in to take over the responsibility. And I'm like, but again, if you wanna make your bed up like that, that's how you're gonna make up your bed. And I'm gonna post it on Facebook, see how your friends, how you sleep. Like what? I bet you're gonna get better. I bet you're gonna get better. I bet you're gonna get better. You gotta like, let this person see. Because my mother said as a kid, who don't hear shall feel. And I think the fact of the matter is we talk more than some kids gotta run. They gotta hurt, they gotta bump their head. They have to. But you got to just be the landing for them and help them get back up and get back on their feet because they're going to learn. And they got to learn the hard way sometimes because today's society is you're telling your son or your daughters to be X, Y, Z, but then they go on Instagram or TikTok, it's telling them to be ABC. It goes completely against what we're teaching them.
Yeah.
So we talk about the streets that's outside. We talk about the house aesthetics that we have. We talk about the school aesthetics that we have. But the one aesthetics that people don't talk about is the social media aesthetics. That streets is deeper than the streets that's in front of you where you live at.
Agreed.
Because it goes further. And it's so much more vague. You can get an opinion from somebody from Nebraska, New Mexico, Texas, Philly, and you can live in New York. You can go get a person's opinion from who don't even have the same experience as you. Your rent could be $800 in Philly. My rent could be $3,000.
Yeah.
So when they be like, just pay your rent, I'm like, you gotta know who you arguing with. Their rent is $600 a month for a 6-bedroom.
Yeah.
Their mortgage is they're $200,000 in their area is a good home. You can't even buy a $200,000 house where we live at. Right? If you're not even looking at $600,000, you can't even talk about a house in New York. But again, it's just knowing they don't have that discernment to see who they're getting their advice from. Right? They just because there's so many opinions coming to an impressionable mind at a rapid speed. So whatever sounds the best to them, why you think they used to make them commercial? Remember? Hey, you sitting there on the couch, tired of being broke? I'll show you how to make money in minutes. And you just tell that your son, you need to get a job. I can get rich in 3 minutes. You see, that's why we have to understand that's why you got to let them have that discernment, but make certain decisions like, yo, hold on.
All right.
This is what we're trying to do. I'm navigating you to success. I'm not trying to hurt you. But you got to show them that this is a safe landing too. So the way you talk to them the truth, you build them up too. When they do something great, I'm proud of you. Keep going. I'm happy for you. You know what I'm saying? Because being a man is a confidence thing. The better the man is, the more confident he is. And in today's society, it becomes masculine toxicity, but you have to be very secure with yourself to be a great leader. You have to be so secure with yourself. But then the standards that they say, when a man speaks up, he's sassy. No, he has feelings. That's not sassy. That's not say he has feelings. When a woman expresses herself, it's okay. But when I express myself, I'm sassy? That don't make no sense.
But I think a lot of boys are taught to kind of, hold their feelings in because of fear of being too sassy. I feel like for me, for my kids, for my boys, especially my son is going to be 13, so he's entering that like little weird phase now of. We used to be a lot closer in the things that he would tell me. Now I feel like he's kind of like, I don't want to, but I try to create that space of what's going on. I'm not his dad, so he can have different conversations with his dad than he does with me. But I do try to create that opening where he can come to me and express himself. What's going on? How's school? How's everything with your friends? What's going on with the girls? What's this? What's sports? With basketball? With this? I try to. And sometimes he won't say anything and he'll walk off. Then he'll come back 20 minutes later like, all right, Mom, I have something to tell you. But I want that for him to feel safe. I don't want him to feel like he's going to be judged or he's going to be looked at any less of a boy or any less of a man if he's having a hard day. My son was going through something at school where he was going through, because, he's in a dominantly white school. And he was going through something where there were his friends like calling him monkey and all sorts of stuff. And it was really hurting him. And he couldn't understand. Like, Mom, I grew up with these kids. I get that you try to tell me this whole black and white thing, but I'm not understanding, like, are they saying it to hurt me? Are they trying to be funny? He couldn't differentiate between, are they joking? Because in our household, my son wouldn't know what to call a Spanish person, a Chinese person, an Asian person, a white person racist if he even wanted to. It's just something it's a behavior that's not taught in our home. So that was a conversation that we needed to have because he was so hurt by the fact that like these kids who are his friends since he was 2 years old are making chats and sending monkey pictures and calling him all sorts of names. So I wouldn't have known that had I not pulled him to the side. He was in his room for a couple of nights. I'm like, what's up with you? I'm good. But I knew something was wrong. So that had to be addressed. You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
you see that at that role you played mom, right?
I had to.
And what we say,
mom went to the school and everything. Big mom.
But this is a kicker right now. Will we say that women are nurturing, right?
Right.
Why wouldn't the boyfriend or the husband get that same thought? Like maybe he's just going through something, and maybe I should go to him and ask him like, "Are you okay?" I like that. That's the only thing I feel like. That's the only thing I get mad at women is because I'm like, yo, you have that level of logic when it comes to your child, but the person you lay with every night and say you love, you don't have that level of compassion for.
I think there are a lot of women that do have compassion for men,
Because
though.
it's used against them in anger. So that means they just picked up
I
ammunition.
don't think you don't have. I think yes, I agree with you to a degree, but I do think that you do have some women that if their men are going through something, they want to know. You know,
Watch this,
babe, what's
ask the
going on?
All the men on the live right now, sorry if I cut you off too. I apologize.
No, go ahead.
But all my guys on my live right now, whoever gave a woman ammunition and she used it against you in anger, or she learned something about you and used it against you, let me just get a yes. I'll be the first one to say yes. They go one yes. They go one says yes. They go, yeah, look at them yeses. Look, yes, 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 yes. You see why the women don't fix themselves? Because the only thing they do is always point the finger again. When a woman does that, that means she doesn't want to acknowledge another person's feelings. That's narcissistic behaviors. Just so you stay
Why
with
the
me.
woman that said men do the
Yes,
same thing?
because you got to be able to identify problem first and the next problem. Right now, we're talking about do women do it. The moment you make it about what men do the same thing, that means you're minimizing that y'all do it by saying we do it. So guess what? It's okay that we do it.
Mm-hmm.
If you hit me and I hit you back, we're both wrong.
Right.
Because neither one of us should have passed a lick. Once you become an adult, it's not he hit me first or she hit me first. That's what children get away with. But as adults, you don't get away with that. Y'all both wrong because neither one of y'all should be passing licks. That's how you become. And once we get to that point as adults, because like you say something about a woman is like, but a man does this. And I'm like, this is why we're stuck. Because every time we give, you had 1,000 people that are men saying yes, rather than saying we need to fix this problem. I do believe that women utilize what they learned about their men against them. And rather than becoming defensive and saying men do it also, just hear them out. And let's break this problem so therefore we can move forward. Well, my whole purpose is to try to create better, healthy aesthetics of relationships. But you can't create healthy relationships if you don't create healthy people.
Right.
Who learn how to have that same, I just mentioned a minute ago, you had the empathy for your son to see something was wrong with him. A man gets distance, most people are not gonna go to him and ask him, are you okay? He's in your bed with you and you can't even see that he's not happy. And that is his problem. But why? This is a person you say you love. Regardless of are we on best terms or not, I still want my exes to still be the best happy versions of themselves.
Right.
Like that's when you love yourself. When you love yourself, you want others to be happy.
Right.
When you're happy, you want others to be. When you're not happy, you only want yourself to be happy because you're selfish.
But I think that goes across the board, like loving yourself, self-esteem, confidence. It all comes together. Like you can tell, it don't matter man or woman. You can tell who's confident, who's not. You can tell who low self-esteem. You can tell in the how they are as a person. So I think it's very important to be confident and have a high self-esteem, and you'll have empathy for others. You know.
Because again, but society has taught people that. So I can't fault my women for being like that because they got it from the generation before them.
Oh.
And the generation before them taught them that. For instance, my generation and Shay, my generation, they believed in whoopings. And now me and Shay being the parents, we don't hit our children nowhere near to the magnitude that we got hit. And if you do it, it has to be an extreme reasoning that this is my only option at this point. I gotta bust them up. You gotta do what you gotta do. Well, reality is, my son is in here right now. He'll tell you, he's never take a belt and went to work on you? Never. But I've definitely roughed him up a few times, like 3-4 times, because he got beside himself. And I had to show him, like, hold on.
Yeah.
I created you. You're not going to disrespect me.
Do you think gentle parenting, I'm sorry, when you're finished, do you think gentle parenting works for a lot of households, though? Do you think a lot of times, because you say kids have, or we know that kids have all these other influences outside of the home, that sometimes when they get to a certain age, they're just going to try you, and that gentle parenting, you got to throw it out the window?
I think balanced households create healthy children.
Okay.
I think where there's no balance, there will always be a level of something missing. For instance, when the dad is not there, you can see the boys have very, very feminine qualities. Then you can see the women, when they don't have a dad, they have very masculine qualities, right? You see it from the household. You can see a woman, I don't need no man. Like, what? If you sat here and told me what is a man, right? And everything you're gonna say what is a man is gonna be, He works hard, he saves, he these things. Why would you say you don't want someone like that?
Right.
And if I say, Tyler, what is a woman? I'm gonna name great qualities. Oh, she's patient, she's kind, she's pure, she's all of these things. Why would I say I don't want those things?
Do you know what I don't know if you saw this interview. What's his name? That football player that turned, like, he does like a show now. Oh my God. What's his name? Cam Newton? That's
Cam Newton,
him?
okay.
So he was interviewing someone, and the guy said that he doesn't think that men like women. He said he thinks that, did you see that? He was like, I think that this was a man saying this. You guys can agree or disagree. He said a lot of men, heterosexual men, they don't like women. They like to have sex with women. They like to sexualize women, but really and truly, they don't like women.
You want me to
think
be
that's
100%
true?
honest?
Of course I want you to be
100% honest. I genuinely believe, and this is from my experience in talking to a lot of men, I think black women are starting to become the least desirable women. They're the most physically attracted. They're physically attracted to them, but they're not desirable as far as their attitudes and their mouths. They're the least desirable when it comes to the dating world. If you ask most men black men, they're gonna say more white women have more of a pleasing vocal tone, even in anger, than black women. And I'm just being honest, but if you say it as a black woman, like, well, I'm like, listen, I'm not dissing black women. I love black women. I'm attracted to black women. But sometimes the way they are and their approach and their aggression, it doesn't warrant a lot of the behaviors. And a lot of times as men, you have to bite your tongue. And that's considered love in our culture, where it's like, if she violates you and then still go do everything for you, she loves you. But if she violates you, she don't respect you. And that's a harsh reality that we have to learn how to get rid of that mentality, because I do see a lot of women believe that challenging a man is insulting and disrespecting a man, right? And when you look at a man, that is his number one love language. A man will trade finances for respect. A woman will trade respect for finances. Not all, but most. So reality is, as a man, to not give him his love language just because you feel a little way right now, that means you don't love that man. There's no way you can feel loved. If a woman goes out her way to try to hurt you, there's no way she loves you. Because her love for you shows that level of discernment. The same way you had that same discernment with your son, she'll have that same discernment with you. Because she know where the husband, where his wing is broken, the family won't fly.
Do you think a lot of black men, though, are not letting black women feel safe, and that's why sometimes the respect is lacking on both ends? Because I'm sure as much as you know a lot of black women that can be a little mouthy, I'm sure you know a lot of black men that are the same as well.
They usually get it from their mothers. They get it from their mothers. I'm not dissing women, Shay. The men I meet that are very reserved, I can tell they grow up with men. The men that are very mouthy and aggressive as hell, they grow up with women. I promise you, from my experience. The men that always get attitude and want to argue. You ever see a man go back and forth with you mad long? Chances are he didn't have a healthy man, and he didn't see a good man in his house. He's giving exactly what his mother gives. You ever see a man argue till they get their point across? I say my point and I get it moving. My girl gives me.
So they don't emulate sometimes what their dads do?
Because their dad was also feminine. Just because their dad was there doesn't mean he get the same aesthetics of what his mother taught him.
So you feel like all roles just leads back to the woman?
I think because we have such a high of statistic of showing that we have single parents, it definitely plays a major part. By ignoring the fact that it's almost over 70-something% of households are single mothers. So the reality is, a single father has a success rate of 2 parents. Listen to this statement. Come on, guys. Work with me on this one. 70% of women that are single parents, they have the highest incarceration, they have the highest mental health, they have the highest substance abuse, they have the lowest testing scores, they have the highest running away, all across the board, right? And then when you look at the fathers, when a single father has a child, he has a success rate of 2 parents. So by removing that entity, you're really creating your child, you're rolling the dice on your kids. Even if you and him don't get along, you should still keep that man around the child as long as he ain't doing nothing that warrants that you're protecting him from your child. Because you and him didn't get along. You're not protecting the kid from the father in most cases. A lot of times, you actually are trying to control the situation. Believe you me, I've been in family court. I see a lot of women, they use the child as a pawn. and to play a vicious psychological game that child is gonna suffer long term and they're gonna have long term
I agree
effects
with that.
from that problem. But if you tell them that, they're gonna be like, well, he ain't gonna be around my kid. I've never heard a man tell a woman, this is my kid. Women talk like that, my child. That's my baby. Like, those are problematic women. Why do you think like that when it took two to create it? That sounds crazy. The decision you make and you don't even ask the father? That's a narcissistic woman.
But what about the dads that are creating children and they're just leaving the homes with no push from the mother? The mother didn't push them out. What about the dads that just walk out on their responsibilities? Because you do have a lot of men that do that as well. I don't think it's always a mother's mouth, a woman's mouth. I'm talking let's step away from that. Let's talk to the ones that they just creating babies and they just leaving.
You want to bet? The men that are like that, a lot of times you've seen red flags before they even did it. A lot of times he showed a lot of signs that he was not a man. He showed a lot of signs that he wasn't a man. You just ignored it because of the fact that you wanted what you wanted. And the reality is you kept seeing something that he never showed you. So if a man not taking care of his children, you ignored a lot because that's an extreme. There's no way a man goes from daddy of the month to just trash dad.
I didn't say not taking care of his children. I said walk out on, you get women pregnant and they leave. And they just leave. Like, no, that happens too to some women.
I agree. There are situations where I've seen men who don't want responsibility.
They don't want to be dads. They don't want to take care of their kids.
There were red flags there though. There were red flags there. Because even when a woman, like I'll give you a story. One day, one of my boys, he was dating a woman who was bad to her first child's father. And I told him, I said, look how she treats her child's father. If you and her fall out, just know you're going to be in that same boat. He was, I disagree. I said, I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. Fast forward, he went through the same thing. And I'm going to be funny. I'm quite honest. He didn't believe that it could be him and her because when they were on good terms, I'm like, you think it with your emotions. Because I'm going to tell you something. Once you see how, in the child's father, the first father, he wasn't a bad man. She just had, I think personally, she still had feelings for him. I think in most cases when people break up, somebody still leave with a sour taste in their mouth, whether male or female. Someone still has a sour taste in their mouth. Yeah. So that's why you have a problem with it itself. Because I always ask people, how do you tell me that this person is not for you, but every time you mention this person's name, you talk crazy about the person? If they're not for you, why do you care? So
let me ask you this. What do you think we can do, especially in the Black community? Let's talk about our community, to keep more two-parent homes. What do you think is missing outside of, it's not just about, let's not just put the women being mouthy, women being this, accountability on both ends. What do you think needs to be done in the household to keep families together, to keep them there, to keep the kids?
The one thing is, I just genuinely believe that, and I'm being honest with you, Shay, women file for divorce the most. And it's not because of physical abuse. A lot of times, it's because they're not happy, Shay. They're just not happy. And the reality of all things is you have people who are willing to break up households because of their own selfish beliefs and their own selfish wants. So a lot of times we talk about what happens to a man who grows up in a single mother household. But we don't talk about the women that come from that. These women are quick to break up a home because they come from broken homes. These women are quick to throw their husband or boyfriend under the bus because their father was never there to stop the bus from hitting them in the first place. These women was quick to disrespect the man because they never had to respect the man. These women are quick to talk about what they don't need because they never had it. So they don't know what a good man even entails or looks like. So reality is we talk about the aesthetics of what a man that comes from that. But what happens to a woman who doesn't have a father? She has a hard time submitting. She has a hard time listening. She's always feel like she's under attack. Her ego becomes bigger than her anything else. Her ego becomes bigger than anything. Now she stands on her pocketbook. I got my own money. I got my own bread. So if you got your own money, that means you've reached an adult. Who cares? Like, you're an adult, and becoming an adult is being able to pay for your own way, especially if you want a luxurious lifestyle. I would never meet someone and put the luxurious lifestyle on them that I can't give to myself.
All right, so now that you gave the accountability on one side, what about
the other? And now the men,
right?
We come from it. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I was hyper aggressive. I got that from my mom. My mom was hyper. You want me to lie my story? My mom was she hyper aggressive, Teddy? Look, how long you know me, Teddy? My whole life. My mom come in the crib, Bing, ba, da, doom, do, 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 ba, da, do, da, 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 like Michael, da, 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 da. That was my mom. And anytime I got mad, I was da, 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 da. I repeated it. And I'm gonna tell you what happened to me was my mentor came in my house one day. I yelled at my ex-wife so bad. And I said, y'all checked her? Yeah. I walked outside, he said, I don't know who the man or the woman is in that house. And I looked at him and said, what you say? He said, but he never seen me and her argue like that. Mm-hmm. But that day he was there, he looked at me and said, I don't know who the man or the woman is in the house. And I said, what do you mean by that? He said, my young brother, you think you did something. He said, all you showed was your whole vagina. Straight like that. You showed your whole vagina. I'm like, but I respected him so much that I didn't want to fight him. I'm like, I want to fight him because he hurt my feelings that bad. But in reality, he was checking me, letting me know a man don't act like this, buddy. You said what you said 30 times. You say it once and you get it moving. I said what I said and I'm standing on what I said. That's it. That's it. And if your woman respects you as a leader, she gonna respect it. And we'll get back to each other later, we'll talk again. But sitting there going toe-to-toe with a woman don't make you a man. It makes you a coward. It makes you a softie. It makes you weak. Reality is you said what you said, fam. You ain't got to keep going on and on and on and disrespecting a woman to the point because a lot of times those men that disrespect women like that is because that's how they feel about themselves. It takes a weak man to disrespect a woman like that. If you got to take and you a bum and that man gonna want you, he's a bum. That's a loser. He's a clown. But he got those low blows from a feminine energy. He learned that from feminine energy. Low blows. Because I'm gonna tell you something, real men could fight today and tomorrow be best friends. Real women can fight today and be enemies for life. That's the difference. Real men can literally get into it, be mad at each other, and tomorrow it never happened. A woman will fight you and hate you for 35 years. Y'all fought when y'all was in 3rd grade and you still hate her. That's the difference. And if a man learns that, he'll be in that same energy. But a man has to be taught how to be masculine, how to not personalize things, how to, there's some guys, as soon as they get around you, you say something to them, as soon as they leave, try to catch that, they be like, you know what? Yo, and then I'm looking at you like, fam, you think I was attacking you, fam? You think I was attacking you when I'm in the battle with you? But in the same fight, if we in the same fight, I got to tell you what's going to make us get to the next level, fam. I'm not attacking you, but I'm damn sure going to address the elephant in the room. Right. And I promise you, the whistleblowers in today's society are the supervillains. We the supervillains, because we the whistleblowers. I would never take my friend's wife as a sister to me and let him violate her to the point where he OD'd, and I don't say nothing to him. I won't, because it's wrong. I don't care, even if he's my friend. It's OD. You said what you said, fam. You didn't got to go crazy, fam, because this is not warranted you and her breaking up. You're not going to break up after this argument, so you don't have to go to the extreme. And now you're going to give her insecurities in your relationship. Right? And that's why I said, a man, we have the ability, y'all have the ability to forgive the harshest extremes of cheating. We have the ability to forgive y'all for saying some of the nastiest things because we've been trained to do it. A lot of us have that ability to forgive when a woman violates us verbally because we've been trained by so long of hearing it. So long that we conditioned.
You don't think you have a lot of black men, Q, too, though, that get very verbally abusive? That can really talk to women
they get
like
it from feminine energy.
The bottom of the barrel. And I don't think that's coming from women. Some
your dad is masculine?
They are.
Your dad is masculine?
My dad is masculine.
Okay, so you respect your dad as a man?
Yes, I do.
Do you see your dad going toe-to-toe with a woman for 2 hours?
No, I don't.
So now if I grew up with your dad, would I do that?
No, nope.
What I'm getting, you just proved my point, Shay. Mm-hmm. When you grow up with a masculine man, you're less likely to be like that.
But that's not all I'm saying, Q.
Because they didn't grow with masculine men. The OGs I grew up with, Ted, we from the same neighborhood. My hood, they spoke, they said what they said, and that was it. They ain't coming arguing with you 45 minutes. That was more my generation I saw that from. Because my generation was the higher level of single parents. That was the mass incarceration era. Right? And with that era, you started seeing more feminine energy. And now they're so feminine now, they scared to fight. They'd rather go get a weapon to hurt you because they won't even physically fight. You're seeing it's getting worse and worse because the masculine energy is not there. With the masculine energy being removed, you're going to see constant feminine energy taking the front seat of where the man should be taking the front seat. There are guys who are comfortable in the passenger seat like this. And then they don't pay none of the bills. I can see if, sometimes you just want her to drive, you worked all week, you tired, right? But I'm just saying there are situations where your woman worked all week and you still want to be in the passenger seat. I call them passenger seat princesses. He's a whole shorty. And he see that as normal because of how he was raised. Because a real man will feel so uncomfortable. I always tell you, I will never respect a man that moves into a woman's house. I don't care if he's paying all the bills. A man go builds a kingdom to bring his family to. And if me and you get together, we buy something together, then that's ours. Or a man gets an apartment, they both sign that lease. A man don't go find a woman that already established her queendom, move into her queendom, and act like it's a kingdom. Look at the logic. Just so you know, watch this style of facts. A queen meets a man, he never becomes a king. If a queen marries a man, he never becomes the king. Never. But if a king marries a woman, she automatically becomes a queen. And that's since the beginning of time. Look it up. If a queen meets a man, marries him, he's never considerably the king. He's the queen's husband. But the woman, when the man meets the woman, he's a king, he makes her a queen. But if you're looking for a woman to make you a queen, that means you're a queen. It's just what it is. I didn't create the rules, I just understand it. But those guys that be like, yo, well, I live in my girl house and she respect me. I'm like, last week you got kicked out when she got angry. Just so you said, look, it said when a man marries a queen, he does not automatically become a king. Because king implies this rule. He usually becomes a prince and assumes a lesser noble title. His wife retains and governs authority while he serves a supporting role. And so I'm just saying, it's not, I don't create the rules, but these guys that don't understand it because they weren't taught it. It took me years to learn it too, to stop like running from my role in fighting what the laws of the land is. The more we get into society and we learn how to rebel against the laws, we're gonna keep seeing unhealthy aesthetics and households. That's all you're seeing. Women that don't respect men because this man wasn't taught how to be a man. And believe you me, he's fighting what he think he should be doing comparable to what he was taught to do. He's fighting himself. And believe you me, he's in a bad battle with himself. Yo, I sit online sometimes, Shay, and I watch a guy. We talk about a man. They jump on your comments. I'm like, Twitter fingers? You're a man. I can understand when a girl get in your comments and get mad. But a boy is crazy to me. Yes. They get so mad. Yo, there was a live I was doing, and the guy just came in the comments, started talking crazy. And I said, yo, brother, you okay? What you mean I'm okay? That's what he wrote back to me. I said, are you all right? I said, what I'm getting out of this situation is you projecting, you unhappy, brother. He got quiet. I said, let me ask you a question, man to man. He said, what? I said, did you grow up with your father? What does that got to do? I said, yes or no? Did you grow up with your father? He said, no. I said, I can tell. I can tell because if I was your father, I'd go get my belt and whip you. I said, because you should know better than that. Let my son be in somebody's comments talking crazy. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? We men. We see him face to face, we say how we feel. There's a kid that knocked on my door one day, right? Told me he wanted to fight my son. My son said, let's go get it. And I said, yes, that's what I'm talking about. And if you want to go get your father, go get your father. Because I'll work your father. Because I said, ain't no jump, you gonna get your head, ain't no cameras. You want to be a man, you knocked on my door, son, you handle that as a man. That's it. And ain't no jumps, nothing. It's gonna be a fair one. That's how I grew up. We never laughed at the dude that lost the fight, we laughed at the dude that never fought back. That's the generation we come from, Shay. I never laughed at the guy that fought back. I always laughed at the dude that never fought, that ran. Yo, you could have lost, so what? You come back, what he said, but you live. You live to fight another day. I come from that generation. And I respect a man that's out here fighting for his family. Even if you losing, my brothers, keep getting back up fighting. Just keep fighting. And that's what a lot of them don't want to do because they weren't taught. They don't know their own strengths. They don't know. They scared to get back up because falling hurts. It hurts. It does. Especially when you know ain't nobody gonna be there to look for you to say, yo, let me help you back up. It's okay. You know, I asked this lady the other day, she was talking crazy, and I want you to say something. She said something to me the other day that bothered my heart. She talked so negative about her man. I stopped her and I said, let me ask you a question. You ever prayed? Let me hold your hands and pray with you. You ever did that? You're such a strong, nurturing, loving God woman, but you won't even pray for the man that you get intimate with. God damn. You won't even hold his hands and pray with him because the devil has gotten your heart so bad that you can't even see it. And she looking at me like, Q. I said, I'm just telling you the truth. The devil is real. Negative and positives are real. Evil and good is real. And it exists. And it's pouring onto our culture to the point where we can't see it. Anytime a man speaks about a woman, we hate women. I love women. Say, I love you. I adore you. But I'm going to tell the truth. If my daughter wrong, she get a little thigh pluck. But it is what it is. I'm not going to take my son's side or my daughter's side. Whoever's right is right. Who's wrong is wrong. When we get back to that society, now we can start fixing our culture. We got to get rid of this girl club. Everybody taking up for each other. All these women, nah, my friend, I got my girl's back. I'm like, you know your friend a thought? You know she a thought. You protecting the hoe. I'm not protecting no thief. I'm not protecting no clown. And all my friends know, I don't respect no man that don't take care of his children. You can't hang out with me, fam. It ain't happening. I walk around, look, my daughter right on my heart. Look.
I see it.
You see what I'm saying? My son in here chilling with me. Right? It's been me and my son since forever, right, Nate? And we thugged it out together, right? It's been us. I never ran from my responsibilities.
Tell them about your experience as being a single father, because you know a lot of single mothers, they complain or they say their experience. How was yours as a single father?
What do you mean they complain?
I mean, either they complain or was it good or bad? Sometimes they do complain. It's true. I'm gonna tell the truth. They complain.
I will say the hardest thing for me with being a single father, and my son, I hope you're listening to this, is I didn't know how to nurture. I knew how to provide, but I didn't know how to coddle. I tell you the hardest story that for me to ever tell, and it was a learning experience for me. There was a time where I was so mad at my son for something, and I yelled at him. And then when I looked at him, I said to him, yo, you want a hug? When I grew up, when we said that, it was a form of like trying to diss you.
Yeah.
My son looked at me and said, yes. And I looked at my cub and I said, damn, I gotta ease up a little bit, bro. Like my son, but again, that energy, that's how I was raised. I never had that, I never had that. So I didn't know how to give it. But dealing with my son all these years, I've learned how to get better at it. To the point where I pour into him. When I tell him about himself, I also pour into him. But anyway, I looked at him and I said, yo, you need a hug? He looked back at me and said, yeah. And I promise you, to this day, that moment hurt me so much as a father. Hurt me.
But that's what I was saying to you before, that I feel like sometimes a part of a man's emotion can come from another man. Being raised by a strong father, being raised is good, but in a sense, it can make them lack that emotion. Or just because you saying to him, yo, you need a hug? That probably took a lot for him to be like, yeah, I do. Just not knowing how you were going to respond. And really, that's just what he needed. You know what I'm saying? In that moment. So my point a while ago was simply saying that sometimes I feel like men can be so strong when it comes to their boys and so tough on their boys that they create men that can't talk on how they feel too. Just the same way you say maybe having an absent mother or mother that overcoddles. I feel like it's the same thing sometimes when you have a dad that's just too tough on you. Sometimes it makes them purr up a little bit when it comes to saying their feelings because they feel like, yo, I can't talk about my feelings. I ain't grew up like that.
Agree.
My dad was tough. He was too tough on me. I feel like that can happen either way, you know?
Let me ask you a question. What is October 31st?
Halloween.
And what do people do on Halloween?
They dress up.
And dress up in what? In a costume. So that's a mask, right?
Right.
Once you've learned how to put on a mask so long, you don't even know it stopped being Halloween. And a lot of men have put on a mask so long with their emotions, they don't know how to show what's under the mask. A lot of them are like that. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Shay, I was like that. I didn't even know how to cry. I didn't know how to feel. I became numb to life. I would see things that was bothering me, but it wouldn't bother me till I got into a dark room by myself. Right. When no one could see me being vulnerable. That's a reality that a lot of men face every day. Every day. And they have to figure it out because no one is gonna say, it's okay, my brother. It's okay. I told my son, I'm gonna figure it out with you. I never had a man figure it out with me. I never had that. I never had it. So the reality is being vulnerable is only as, it only makes as much sense as you're taught. So this is what I'm seeing a lot of men going through right now. Is because they don't know any difference. So reality is when you don't know any difference, you do exactly what you're taught. And that's a major problem when people aren't taught any difference. And I'm fighting right now to try to help other men be vulnerable, expressing themselves, let them know it's okay. I remember one of my boys, he got hit back to back. He lost his grandfather, and then right after that, he lost his, right before he lost his friend, and he lost his grandfather. But he got hit with 2 major deaths back to back. And he's sitting in the shell, and I can see the energy is a little distant. He a little snappy. I'm like, yo, you're a little snappy. And I'm like, yo, you're a little snappy. So I called Tyler. I'm like, yo, Tyler, son a little snappy to you? You notice that? He's like, yeah. I'm like, something wrong with him. And I was like, yo, you can talk to me, bro. It's okay. Yeah. And he like, nah, when I'm good, I'm like, nah, you ain't good, bro. It's okay, bro. And he pulled me up later on, like a couple days later, we downstairs. He pulled me downstairs, let me holler at you. And he talked. And I said, yo, bro, anytime you need me, I'm here, bro. I'm here. You don't got to always have it together. You don't got to always know where you going. Just don't give up. We just got to give them the courage to not give up. You know what I'm saying? Not everyone don't know where they figured out where they're going to be or what they're going to do with their life. They don't know. But you just can't be a loser. You just can't give up. Got to just keep fighting. That's the analogy of me telling you my son got to be willing to fight. And I'm willing to fight for him. He's willing to fight for himself. I'm willing to lose my life for him if he's willing to lose his life for himself. If he ain't willing to lose his life for himself, I ain't willing to lose my life for him. I'm sorry. That's where accountability kicks in. Go ahead, Tyler.
So what do you think, how do you feel about the fathers who, not the how do you feel about the mothers who they claim Happy Father's Day to them? Because I do see mothers like that. Like they're like,
Say it again?
I mean, I
Happy
think that's
Father's
crazy.
Day to me.
When you hear
is weird.
mothers saying Happy Father's Day to them, or some people wishing mothers Happy Father's Day, I think sometimes that comes from a lot of single parent households where if the dad is non-existent, where you have people jokingly saying Happy Father's Day to you, Happy Mother's Day to you. I think
it should be an insult to a woman.
I just think it. Yeah, I don't.
Because I know
to a man too.
None of my kids can tell me Happy Mother's Day. I'd be like, what?
Too.
Happy what? None of my kids can even joke like that to me.
I'm gonna be
It's been me and you. You can't tell me no Happy Mother's Day.
Transparent.
Man, you gonna fight.
Very transparent right now. So I have 2 boys, and my oldest son's dad is not who. Obviously, my husband is. We have our youngest child together. My son had a very difficult time this morning texting his biological father. He showed me the message he sent to. I don't know, some of you guys know, I've been with my husband since my son was 10 months old. He's going to be 13, so he's been a dad to him forever. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have the best relationship with his father. He's there, but just not, you know. And the message he sent to his dad, like my husband, we call that's his dad,
okay,
was just, oh my God, like I was tearing up. It was just telling him how amazing he is, how much he loves him. I'm so happy to have you as my dad.
Wow.
So I said to him, did you send another? And he goes, Mom, I don't want to. And he's laying in the bed next to me. I'm in the bed. He's like, I don't really want to. He's not. I said, that's up to you. And he wrote, Happy Father's Day, with nothing behind it. Somebody just said that's because of me. Okay.
Now, I'm being honest with you. No. I'm being honest with you. I know the aesthetics. It's not because of.
I don't care.
He hasn't built a consistent rapport with him. Just so y'all know.
I'm telling you, when people don't know you and they don't know your situation,
keep going.
Your experience is your evidence. So
it's okay.
I don't care.
Nah, I'm being honest with you. It wasn't her.
But
she actually tries to force the relationship.
It really made me realize that at 13, he is really formulating
his own feelings,
his own opinion, and I don't have to say anything or do anything. You know what I mean? So it was just a little sad to see. I was happy one text he sent, but the other was just how he felt. And he said, I'm not going to write anything else. That's just how I feel, Mom. I said, okay.
But I've been in situations where where I looked at myself in the mirror at times and was like, damn, like, can I express myself? Is it okay? And one thing I pray that he might be holding back his true feelings because he might be feeling like, I don't want nobody to know how I'm genuinely feeling, or he's not ready to express it, or he might not know how to express how he's feeling. Might give him a little more time where he might get to the point where he gets comfortable with saying his truth, because he might be conflicted between knowing that it's his father, but also my feelings. Yeah. So he might be fighting his own confliction. Where he's like, damn, I'm supposed to love him because he's my dad, but I'm feeling away because he's not doing what he needs to do for me. So I get both sides of the coin. You know what I'm saying? Anybody talk foolish, Ray, just start muting them, okay? See? But again, it's like we I just say that like a lot of times, like we got to get out of. Earlier, somebody wrote, and I meant to say it earlier. Someone wrote, go ahead, Tyler, read that.
So there's two questions.
Say hello.
So Melon Slay said, why do you think so many men want younger women? And then she said they want women that don't know any better.
See, I think that's the old women that think like that. I think older women tend to constantly make an excuse that they're now the older women, that they don't want to accept the fact that men are attracted to younger women. Just like women are attracted to men who have money.
But you hear some men saying, though, if you're looking at social media, you hear a lot of men saying that a lot of older men will date younger women because they know they're easier to mold, they're easier to this.
But when you hear the word
women,
mold, what do you hear?
I'm going to be honest with you. It gives control to me.
But you have to have control to lead.
It gives control.
You heard that, though?
Yes.
You have to have control to lead.
Control.
How do you lead what you can't control?
Yeah.
So that means you're not leading. Again, if you're and I'll use the analogy and you say you don't like it, a job, the supervisor has to have control in order to be the supervisor.
Right.
If a supervisor doesn't have control, then they're leading the supervisor. But if the man is supposed to be the leader and he doesn't have control over his woman, and I'm not talking about where he's disrespecting her and where he's like a slave, that's weird. People that think like that, I feel like they're hurt. And I'm talking about leadership is meaning, I'm like, yo, chill, calm down.
Right.
And she'll calm down. I've been in situations where I've seen women start talking crazy and the man is standing there like, he cannot make her stop. There's nothing he can do. And I'm like, you shouldn't be with that. That's like the little skinny lady walking a big old pit bull. That's what I see in that situation. Look at that.
Yeah.
You know, like our little man, he's walking that big old dog that's leading him. You can't control it. That's the same thing as when I see a woman standing there screaming at the top of her lungs and the man can't tell her to chill and she's not willing to listen. That's the aesthetics. That's what comes to my mind automatically is the person that got something that they shouldn't have.
So why do you think women get upset about the term control? Because what I'm hearing, a man has to have some type of control, if you think about it.
Because they never seen it. They never seen it, bro. I promise you. They're fighting against what the men that don't want to be men and don't want to take on the responsibilities as men, is because they never seen it. They're fighting against their nature. It's become their nature. What you learn is nurture versus nature. Your environment, all of those things play a major part in your development. But if you grew up in an environment where it's not your nature to take care of your woman and to be a man in your household, you're going to go to exactly what you've seen. He's never seen it. So he's fighting against what he ever seen. And a part of him knows it's wrong. He knows it. But to lay down all day while your woman is killing herself for you, and you don't see nothing wrong with that, that's because that's what you saw. Like the one thing I took from my mom is my mom never babied me. Never babied me. My mom was strict. She was like, I'm raising men. I'm raising men. And my mom would walk in the house from work. My mother would do overnights. My mother would do 16 hours, come in the house. We sleep, 6 in the morning. Get up! Everybody get up! Wow. And I'm like, oh my God, we just went to sleep 3 in the morning. My mother, and the rule of my mother's house is, your nightlife should never affect your day life. That's why anybody know I've come on this podcast tired, sleep deprived, whatever, and you still get up. My mother said, your nightlife should never affect your day life. And if your nightlife is affecting your day life, then it's time to give up your nightlife. She said, because ain't nothing outside but what? What's outside at night? What she said? What they say? Come on, somebody got to know.
What's outside then?
What's outside? Freaks and devils. I'm saying, so what you doing up all nights? Type of night, you know you got to get up in the morning and go provide. You got to do what you got to do. When a man ain't willing to make those sacrifices because he's not a man, he never seen it.
To your point, it's funny because my grandmother, recipes my grandmother, the way she would wake me up for school, middle school, elementary, she'll yell, get up, and she's taking the covers off. You know it's cold in the morning. She's ripping the covers off. You can't get them. Get up right now.
Yep. But even you take, okay, Tyler, right? That's my little brother, right? We got a father-son kind of aesthetics, right? Would you agree? Tyler got better as a man because of me. And I know that, but I got better because of my mentor as a man. So that's where you comfortable when you actually able to hear that another man taught me how to be a better man. My mentor checked me as a man. When Tyler was acting a little aggressive, what are you doing, Tyler? What are you doing? And the respect he has for me, it's not fear, it's respect. When another man respects another man, he could talk to his heart, he could talk to his spirit, he could talk to his soul. Because it takes another man to talk to a man's spirit, his soul, everything. A man can stand over you and talk to you and literally raise your awareness and who you are as a man. But a woman can't do that. She can't. So when a man be like, yo, fam, you musty. It's like, whoa. When your mom do it, yo, all she do is complain. All she do is yell. Oh my God, my mom always yelling. That's how we feel. Right? And again, they do it so much, they don't realize that they become the little boy that cried wolf. Because mother's always complaining. They complain about so much that you actually tune out their complaining. But more than likely, if you had your dad complained a lot?
No, man.
He spoke when he spoke, right? That's what a man does. If more men had that aesthetics, you would see better men in the house. That's the problem. We have a lot of men, they're trying to be men, but they don't know how to be men. And then the women aren't giving them grace because they're looking at like, you can't be mad when you didn't learn something. So you fighting with the person for not knowing what they don't know. Go ahead.
Shout out to Lojalin 2063 for 10 gifted. He asked he said leader-based men shape, mold women to their fit. Over time, women have a similar effect on men. This is simply human nature. That's why it's so important for children to be in 2-parent households. Thank you for the $10.
See, look, Alfred said only a man that is respected can talk to another man's soul. He's right. I promise you. Look at the biggest man on earth, God. That's the biggest man on earth. Then God created what? It's God, man, woman, children. Children lean on woman, woman lean on man, man lean on God, right? That's how it's the order. When a man, he doesn't want those responsibilities is because he never saw those responsibilities. Because I think it's an honor for my family to depend on me and to trust me and to know that I got us. And I'm going to put us in a better position. It's good. And I think that's where a man confidence comes in. If a man doesn't have that confidence, it's because he hasn't been taught it. Like I always tell my son, you think you're not learning from someone that experienced it already doesn't make you smart, it makes you foolish. Because to think that you're going through something I've never experienced is foolish. I'm like, don't let your ego make you less of a man because of the fact that you are going to another man that you say you love and respect and learn from them. There's nothing wrong with that.
I have a question. As I was asking before, this is off what topic what you were saying. Do you think, though, that a lot of women do, instead of going based off what they see, they fall in love with potential and they romanticize like the possibilities and just something that isn't real. And that's why a lot of relationships fail?
I think the first is the woman, she falls in love with the physical, how he looks, how he carries himself, all that energy, how he talks, all of that first. But after she has a child, I think she falls in love with the ability to provide. She will look past how he looks, how he carries himself, his height, when she has responsibilities now.
I'm talking about before having a kid. I'm talking about just in the dating world as to why you feel like a lot of, Black families are having, whether it's failed relationships, failed marriages. Do you think, what do you think is the bridge between that could hold that together? And why do you think it's lacking so much? Where do you think a lot of us are going wrong where we're not even getting to the stage of marriage?
Because if you never seen, like, okay, a woman has to be taught how to be loved and a man has to be taught how to give love.
Right.
If she's never saw her mother receive love, more than likely she's willing to take less of what she's considered love because she don't know what love is. Love is only as defined as much as what you see. So her not seeing love, therefore she's willing to accept a less of what she feels she should be getting because she don't know any better. You ever see a very, very attractive woman and she thinks she's ugly and she lets men do her filthy, but she's beautiful because she doesn't know. You ever see a girl that's beautiful, who's very promiscuous, because she don't even know her own virtual value? Because again, maybe she learned that from her environment, or maybe her mother could have been promiscuous. Some of these kids that you see that's running around here, they're products of one-night stands, they're products of jump-offs, they're products of being side chicks, they're products of that. Every kid here in America ain't from the parents loved each other.
Yeah, we know
they could have been the whole side chick and it just happens. But of course, in most cases, most kids are gonna believe my mother and father loved each other. No, your mother was his jump-off. It's just what it is. Or your dad was her jump-off. In today's society, right, it goes both ways.
Do you feel like a lot of men would be comfortable with just sex and no relationship? You think the relationship is for the woman? Where most men, when they approach a woman, it's because, this is what a guy said, that most men, when they approach you, they're not approaching you for a relationship. They're approaching you because whether they think you look good, they want to sleep with you. So do you think for a lot of men, if the woman was like, listen, I don't want no relationship, this is all I want, do you think most men would be okay with that?
I would say it depends on where the man is in life.
Okay.
Because I do believe that once a man gets to a certain level, he does care about his legacy.
Okay.
And he knows that he needs a woman to help build a legacy. I do believe that there are more women who don't understand that they need a man to build a legacy. I think once a man is established, he understands that he needs a partner. This is why more successful millionaire black men, they're married. And they're married to black women. Because they realize that in order to create my legacy going, I need a woman. It's just like some of the women didn't get the memo where they think that they need the man. They think they can create life and not need a man, which is kind of scary. I know for a fact I need a woman.
Right.
I know that for a fact. And I need her in the sense of what I'm not, she will be. And God creates that aesthetics healthy for a reason. It gives you the healthy balance that makes relationships work, where I know I'm not very organized. Today, me, you, and Tyler was talking, and Kinsey and Dre was talking. We told you today that you could take the initiative and what? Start setting up all the events. Because I already know you have that gift. Me and Tyler are two procrastinators. We'll wait till the last day and then we'll get through it. But we wait till the last minute for a lot of stuff.
Right.
I got the food truck to come to the pool party 40 minutes before the damn event. Yeah, I know me, but I'm not good at it. Yeah. But I'm comfortable with admitting my truth. Right. I'm not good at it.
Most women are better planners.
That's why I don't get mad at Tyler when I'm like, yo, sometimes he procrastinates. I'm like, because I do the same thing. Most men are like that. And the balance is usually the woman where she's like, yo, you know, on the 15th, and today the whole first, on the 15th, we got to be to this XYZ. You like, what? I missed one of my good friends' weddings because of that one time. Because we had an argument. I didn't tell her about the wedding. And legit, every time I don't tell her, she's the one that always reminds me.
Right.
Completely forgot about my friend's wedding. He saw me the next day, was mad as hell at me. Mad as hell at me. Because he paid $250 a seat.
I see Nicole posted something that said women feel just because they have children, they can dictate to a man how to be treated. You think that's true?
Say it again.
Women, it went
Pull it up 1 second, Dre.
Go down.
Okay, right there. Because
women feel just because they have children, they can dictate to a man how to be treated. I'm trying to figure out, what do you mean? Like they could dictate to a man how to be treated just because you have children?
I think.
Like in terms of what?
Before you even have children, I think what we got to get back to is being married before we have children. I think the biggest commitment is having a child. I think that people take marriage bigger than having children, which is crazy.
I agree.
You're giving life, you're creating life, but you'd rather say, you know what? I would rather be a baby mother than be a wife.
I agree.
That's what we got to get that out of our culture. Once we get that out of our culture, we'll do better.
I agree.
But even growing up, I thought there was nothing wrong with having a baby mother.
Yeah, but we got to also normalize having the conversations too of like, do you want kids, and having protected sex and doing all of those things. It's not just...
You see what she wrote? Go back up 1 second. And this is why you see why, and I can guarantee that she's single. Go up 1 second.
Oh my God.
I promise you, I can tell. You can read comments and tell.
You missed his wedding because you forgot. So why is the burden on the woman to be your personal...
The whole concept was, that wasn't about being assistant. I said women are more organized than men.
Right.
And they have a better memory than men. But the fact of the matter is, look what she got out of that comment. You see what I'm trying to say? When you don't accept your roles and the gifts that God has given us, we have a problem. When you start recreating the natural order that God created, then you start creating unhealthy situations. God made women like that. They're very efficient. They're very on time. They're very organized. That's a gift they have. So it's like, why wouldn't you use that gift? God made us strong, so a man should be laboring harder than his woman. God made you physically stronger. Why is your woman carrying pails of water up a hill when you bigger and stronger than her? Like, it's just what it is. But if a man fights the natural order that God has created, this is what you're having a problem with. Because nothing I said makes sense in that statement that she just said. That statement was foolish. Oh, because of her, that sounds crazy. She your personal. If you want to be somebody's wife that's successful, you better be willing to be a personal assistant. If you want a man that's successful and that got it going on, you better be willing to be his personal assistant. Yeah. Because 9 out of 10 times when a man is successful, a woman benefits the most anyway. You go to better restaurants, you live in a better area, you go on better vacations, you have more money and y'all drive better cars. When a man is successful, ladies that don't understand, they benefit the most. They benefit the most when your man is successful. That's how a lot of women don't even think. They don't even think when a man is successful, successful men care about taking care of their families. That's what they care the most about. So the woman that don't understand it because she ain't never had a man. I promise you she never had a man. She probably slept with a bunch of boys. She done gave her intimate prize to a bunch of boys. He be laying up playing video games. He ain't going to work again. You sleeping with boys. Because a man doesn't have to be reminded he got to get up and go to work. A man ain't going to take over work knowing that the bills are coming at the end of the week and we talking about we going to hang out all day and lay up in the bed all damn day. Hell no, I feel disgusted not making money for a day. I feel nasty. I feel like a bum. But only little boys that sit there and be like, lay up with you all day, then when the bills come, cry about the bills. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. Like I said, you got to be mindful who you're listening to because there are a lot of hurt people out here. They project. You can read what they say that warrants, they hurt. They're very hurt. And I'm like, you haven't met that person that you would like to have met, but you haven't become the woman that he will want to meet. The kind of man you want, you don't accommodate him. You don't compliment him. She's crying about being a personal assistant to a successful man. Wow. I think the woman that has a successful man benefits the most. She lives in great areas, right? She gets a hard laboring man. A man that's busy being the best version of himself has less time to be chasing women. A man that's busy building himself has less time to be worried about sleeping with women. He don't have the energy for it. But when a man is not the best version of himself, he has a lot of time. I know guys that borrow their girl car to go pick up other girls. That is diabolical. I'm just saying, like, the messenger always gonna get the kablow. But again, some of these people need to learn when they hearing these conversations, get out their feelings, get into their logic. And sometimes some people, no disrespect, yeah, he's speaking truth, Nicole, you see what I'm saying? Some people need to literally take a pen and a pad and take notes because these are information that they never learned. And some of my men who haven't heard some of these things, it took me years to learn. And I'm humbly saying this, a lot of men need to learn these rules. They need to learn how to be fathers. They need to learn how to be men. And again, society has to give them an easy landing because of the fact that I'm not saying justify it, but understand that why. Because every action has a reaction and every why has an answer. It's just we got to understand why.
Yeah.
Why? Why is this person this way? Why they're inconsistent? There's a reason. And we got to see why. Why is she so aggressive? There's a reason. When I look back, my grandmother was aggressive, my mother was aggressive. I'm the one that I got aggressive too, and I had to learn how to try to tone that down a little bit. I said, yo, Q, you got to fix it. You got to fix it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got anything else you want to say before we get here today?
That's it.
Listen, look what my man, look, Trippy said. I got a learning to do as a man. I appreciate hearing you, Q, speak. Listen, and Trippy May, I want to sit here as a man looking you dead in your face, right? Put the phone right in your face and say, I appreciate your vulnerability. It takes a man to be able to express his truth and to live in his truth. And whatever you can acknowledge to the world vocally, you can change. Whatever you could acknowledge, you can change. And the moment you can't acknowledge that there's a problem, because ignoring a fire, right, ain't gonna make it stop being the fire's there. You see the smoke and you ignoring it. And that's the problem. We gotta get out of our insecurities. Right. That's what you see a lot of people, they're very insecure. So it's not that Q is talking crazy, it's that they're not ready to hear it. No, it takes time.
Are you taking questions or are you done?
Yo, we're gonna give y'all, I'm gonna let y'all take a question before we get out of here.
One?
Well, take like 2 questions. I gotta get out of here. We going to dinner for Father's Day.
Oh. Okay.
Anybody got any questions? Listen, he says a beautiful thing. That's where a woman can work with a guy like that.
Yeah.
When he's admitting his truth, he's telling the truth. Go ahead.
Thank you to Marcus 30G. He said he donated $5. Facts. My mother and grandfather made sure that me and my brothers knew what it was to behave as a good man and leader.
Yes.
Thank you,
Because
Marcus.
again, he learned. You saw it. And I bet you, when you know what's crazy? We used to think our grandfathers were soft because they never stood there and went toe-to-toe with our grandmothers. Then we learned from, look, moving to the next generation, they taught you to stand there and go toe-to-toe with a woman. Meanwhile, you was being a whole shorty and you thought that was normal because I'm checking her. No, you being a punk because you don't even have self-control. And the reality is, look, the grandparents, the fathers, they won't argue with the woman. They say what they say and that's it. I said what I said, Sandra. I said what I said. That was as far as it went. Now the new man, they stand and go toe to toe with these women, sassy. And then the nuance of men who don't know how to be men, they think the man that's sitting there screaming at that woman, he right. Cheering, like, yeah, you called it a big word. You called it this. You called it this. I mean, one time I'm standing, the dude said, and your box stink. And I said, and you sleep with her for 5 years. So you sound crazy. You just told her that she smells, but you've been sleeping with her for 5 years. I don't want to hear that crap. Come on. But again, that's the low blows he learned from feminine energy. He's trying to hurt her feelings. One of the craziest statements I ever hear men say, and if you say this, you a sucker. Ain't no man gonna want you but me. That's control. And if you talk like that, listen, she don't think that you're the best for her because you ain't being the best for her. And because she should see it. And if she don't see it by now, that means you ain't never been a good man to her. In her head, so let it go. It is what it is. But if you gotta tell her who you are and remind her who you are, that means she'll never appreciate who she has. And that's a whole reality. Because I ain't gotta remind my woman to kind of know what I do. And I don't gotta say it on live and I pay this and I do. We know what it is. They know. Come on. She ain't slow. And when she get out of her feelings, she be speaking again. Well, give it a round of applause for Shay, guys.
I just want to say happy Father's Day to all you amazing dads. I made a promise to myself to keep a lot quiet today, Father's Day. I just wanted to sit in here. You know what it is? I just wanted to, it's my boys' Father's Day. A lot of you dads, it's happy Father's Day, guys. So sorry a lot of you don't feel appreciated. I don't know if the guy's still on here that said nobody wished him a happy Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to you again.
He said that. He said that today to you.
He said?
He thanked you.
I know, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's crazy to be a father and to not be wished happy Father's Day.
Say it's normal. Every day the men go unseen.
So happy Father's Day to all you incredible fathers out there. Love it.
Let me say this to you guys. To the men, on this beautiful, great day, who take honor in being great men, even if you're not a father, at the end of the day, learn how to pour into young men, learn how to love on the young women, so show them how they need to receive love. So those uncles, those cousins, those things all matter. Yeah. When people don't understand that people are only mirroring what they were taught, and they only reacting the way they were taught how to react. Society is a big mirror of the people that came before them, and they're only repeating what came before them. It took me years to learn how to be a man, and I'm gonna spend a lot of energy trying to show men how to become men, because the reality is we don't have enough examples of what a man looks like. To my men that are fathers, I wanna say happy Father's Day to you. And the men that will be future fathers, I wanna say happy Father's Day to you, because you have to carry yourself as a father before you can become a father. And for those men that live the examples rather than just talk, I want to give you a round of applause. And lastly, to the women that celebrate all the special men in their lives, that appreciate men, that understands the necessity of a man, that knows that men are needed in today's society, and it is problematic if we continue to create this toxic mentality and behaviors. I want to give my ladies a round of applause.
My dad never took care of me and my siblings and never told my mom Happy Mother's Day. That's awful.
Wow.
That's sad.
You see? But sometimes, the one thing is, when you look at the backstory, when you go see the dad and you go take his backstory, it gets deep.
Y'all gonna make me cry. Prada said, I have 4 grown kids. Nobody called for my 50th birthday on May 28th or today for Father's Day. Well, happy belated birthday and happy Father's Day to you, Prada. That's awful.
Well, Prada, I want to say happy birthday and happy Father's Day to you. Happy belated birthday and definitely happy Father's Day.
Oh, thank you, Philip.
But I'm going to tell you something, Prada. You create your village.
That's awful.
The village that might not appreciate you, because there's an old saying, they said a prophet has never received or loved in his own village. So maybe you've outgrown that village. It's time for you to go on and build your new village.
That makes me sad, because you know what? There are so many incredible fathers out here, Q being one of them.
Appreciate
a lot
it.
of you guys on here. My dad, my stepdad, my husband, so when I hear you guys really say you don't feel appreciated, it really does make me sad. Y'all know I like to cry, but I'm not gonna do it. But that's sad, You guys deserve your flowers too.
100%.
For the work that you do. You know what I'm
100%.
saying? So I'm sorry that you didn't get that one call from any of your 4 kids. That's awful.
That's facts.
That's
Let's wrap this
awful.
up, guys. For those who want to keep up with the content,
Yeah.
each and every Sunday we do this between the hours of 3-ish. But just turn on the bell notification on your YouTube channel. Tell on your bell notification for your TikTok channel. Turn on the bell notification so that anytime we go live, you will be the first to be informed. I want to give my special co-host, she did an amazing job today on Father's Day.
Because I kept quiet.
No, you didn't keep quiet. You it was great. Great conversation. But again, I love everybody that stayed here all day and that support the movement. Go follow you at.
Oh, Tashay Jones, T-S-A-H-A-Y, last name Jones, guys.
And go follow me at
That's me.
QDABOSS 516, Q the Boss 516. Every platform is called Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. And on YouTube, Empower Dynasty. Till next time, guys, don't let that go over your head.